variable declaration. See, when we are talking about variables, like you know that integer, like I am taking int I am taking int I, and this I is what? This is a variable. So when we are talking about variables, there are three types of variable declarations. There are three types of variables in Java, that is instance variable or the member variable, class variable or the static variable, or the local variable. So there are three types of variables: instance variable, class variable, and local variable. The variables can be assigned the initial value at the time of declaration, like we always have done. Like we can also assign the values of the variables on the very initial phase. Like I am taking int a equals to 10. So this particular thing is known as initialization. So this is the initialization. Java doesn't have the global variable. There is no concept of global variable in Java. Like in different languages like C, C++, there is a concept of global variables. So Java doesn't have global variables. Therefore, instance and static variables are used to communicate the information from one object to another. So as there are three kinds of variables, these three types of variables. So these three types of variables basically the instance variable and the class variable basically communicate between the objects. So this way the things go. After that, when we talk about the local variables are used inside the block of statement. So when we are working with the methods, like we are having methods, I am taking void show. Suppose I am taking the method void show. So suppose let me take, I'm taking void show. This is a method, and if I am going to declare some variables inside this method, I'm taking int a equals to 10. So this particular variable is known as local variable, and this is local to the function. So this variable is local to function. Local variables are used inside the block of statement within a method, that is within the function. The instance variable or the method variables are automatically initialized by their default values. So it is not so far required to initialize the instance or the member variables because they are automatically initialized by their default values. So what are the basically default values when we talk about integer? So the default value of integer is 0. Okay, the default value of integer, that is 0, and for the string the default value is null. So null is the default value for string values, string data. Then the local variable must be initialized before it is used, as they are never initialized automatically. So we have to initialize the local variables because they are not initialized automatically, and it is required to initialize them. If the local variable is used without initialization, the compiler will generate error. So if we are not initializing the local variable, then the compiler will generate the error. That's why it is necessary to initialize the local variables. The static variables or the class variables are used with the keyword static. So whenever we are working with a program, like I'm taking public static void main. So the variable which I will take inside this, like I'm taking int a, b, c. So these three variables are known as class variable or the static variables. Why? They are in the public static void main. So when we are talking about static or the class variable, public static void main, I am taking. So this I am taking, and here I am taking integer. Suppose these three variables. So these are known as the static variables or the class variables. Okay.